listener production.
Just a heads up, this episode of the Weekend Briefing discusses suicide. If you need help, give Lifeline a call on 13 11 14.
Hey, Tom Tilley with you for the Weekend Briefing. And these are our big, deep dive interviews where we really get to know some of the humans behind the headlines. And today's guest is a very big human, very big on and off the footy field, very big character. His name is Wendell Sailor. He was a huge star in the 90s and 2000s. He played for the Broncos in the 90s. He stood out because he was great. They won lots of premierships. He was a big bloke. He also stood out for the colour of his skin. His birth parents are from West Indian, South Sea Islander and Torres Strait Islander heritage. So he stood out for that reason. He also played in both codes. He played rugby league for 9 years at the Broncos before taking up an offer to play rugby union, where he ended up playing for the Wallabies. He also had some controversies. His international rugby career ended with a 2-year ban for cocaine use. So we're going to get into that and a whole lot more, including his career now, where he's a radio host. He hosts the Drive Show on Triple M Sydney. He's also going to weigh in on the latest racism scandal in the NRL, where at the Las Vegas opening round, a player was racially sledged by another player, which is something that Wendell had to go through in his career as well. And he knows both the players involved quite well. So he's got some interesting thoughts there. So here he is. I bring you Wendell Sailor. Wendell, thank you for joining us on the Weekend Briefing.
Tom, thanks very much for the invitation.
Mate, tell us about the earliest memories for you as a child growing up in Mackay. What comes to mind straight away?
Well, I grew up in Serena, which was 30k south of Mackay, but like all my sport was mainly played in Mackay and Serena. So Serena, like, it's a little country town, mainly known for cane and cattle. Martin Balla and Dale Shearer. Oh, they were from there.
League legends.
Yeah, they were. And then Kevin Campion was the next to go. I was always a bit out there, a bit extrovert, always got excited around people. And so in class, I'd get sent outside a bit for talking too much and, distracting other people, Tom.
Yeah. Fortunately, you now work in radio where that's part of the job, helps you win ratings. Tell us about when you found out you were adopted. Can you remember getting the news?
Oh, yeah. Look, I think in our culture and our family, whether it's, the Torres Strait Islander Indigenous background and South Sea Islanders, your aunties and your uncles, and there's, your uncles, could bring up your nephew or your niece, and there's a lot of that happening, And for me, when I was 13 or 14, my adopted mum said to me, your auntie Penny, well, that's actually your birth mum. So,
right.
Yeah, so that's how I found out a little bit. And
so you were raised by your mum's sister?
No, but by just a next door neighbour. She was a next door neighbour. So, but she said
not
she
a
was
literal
my
auntie,
yeah,
but like an auntie.
Yeah, that's what in our culture sometimes. That's what you call your auntie. Yeah.
Right. How did you feel
at the time? 13, 14. You don't really put two and two together. But for me, I didn't realise, and it wasn't until I got older, and then I got a little bit sort of, why did you give me away? Sort of those sort of feelings. Yeah. And like sometimes I'm a bit of an overthinker, and I wish I didn't overthink it because when I got about 18, I didn't want anything to do with my birth mum.
Right. What was it like meeting her?
Oh, it was fine because I knew she was my auntie, so it was never a problem.
But so you knew her before you found out she was your mum?
Yeah, so my birth mum, she used to come and visit me as my auntie. That's your Auntie Penny, that's your Auntie Penny. Yeah. So it was just a different setup in a culture where I suppose you want people to tell you the truth, and then sometimes when you know the truth, you can take it either way. You can say, "Oh, thanks for telling me that," and make it work, or you do what I did and probably didn't handle it the best way.
What do you mean by that? How didn't you handle it well?
Well, I just thought at 2 days old to give me away to the next door neighbours. I just felt that. Why did you have me if you wanted to give me away? And, so I've got some half-brothers and sisters that I haven't really had anything to do with, but, I live a very separate life to them. Sometimes, that plays in your head. I like where I've gotten to in my life. I'm living the dream. I've always wanted to work in radio and TV and, I see myself as an ex-football player that was given a great opportunity to do what he did, and I'm loving giving back, whether it's coaching kids, whether it's working in those programs, Are You OK Day, a little bit of stuff with Gus for Got You For Life, but only because I've been there,
Yeah, and so I've heard you tell a story about getting kicked out of a party because you were black.
Yeah.
Take us to that moment. You're 13 years old at that point. How did that make you feel in a community that I imagine was mostly a white community?
Yeah, it was the community itself. It was just part and parcel of that community because there was a lot of South Sea Islanders, Indigenous people, in that Mackay-Serena area. And it was a bit of to and from. It was the reverse racism as well. So it was a bit of to and from, And Mum and Dad, I didn't see colour when I was growing up. I loved everybody, I wanted to be everyone's friend. And I remember that day we played a game in Mackay, and I'd been lucky enough. I was the captain of the team. So, I love being front and centre. And then
you're going to be invited to the party.
Yeah, so, and all those people were my friends, and I still hang out with a couple of those people now from back home, A couple of the girls, and one of the girls just recently said, I can't believe that happened. Like, we never knew.
To cut to the story, you're in this party full of your mates, and the girl who's hosting, her father calls you out?
Yeah, so it's grade 7, grade 8. So there's about like 25 of us at a party, and we're having a good time, and the dad walks in and just looks at me and just points and says, "What's the darkie doing here?" And then the brother comes over and says, "He's got to go." So I had to ring my mum, old school, like 566, and then, and just said, "Oh, Mum, I'm feeling sick." So I had to make an excuse to leave the party because I didn't want to tell Mum and Dad.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to blow it out of proportion. But,
If you told them the real reason, how do you think they would have reacted to that?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think a lot of us, you don't want to put your mum and dad in a situation where they would fight that battle because your mum and dad has been through those battles,
Yeah.
But here we are still in 2024 and we're still fighting the same battles.
And so what was the background of your adopted parents?
So I think my dad was West Indian and mum was South Sea Island Indigenous.
Your birth parents?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I never met my birth dad. So I to this day, I don't know who my birth dad is. So that's why that West Indian background in my culture, as in me. So I've never found out. I think my kids have tried to find out on on the tree thing. What do you call it?
I've forgotten the name.
Yeah, I've forgotten the name too. But
The family tree.
But I don't want to know. Like I only knew one dad, and the dad that brought me up was a Torres Strait Islander, Wendell Sailor, and to go up
Your adopted father.
Yeah, to go up to the Torres Strait Islands to go back to Thursday Island, and our family is all over Australia. So they went to Perth to work in the mines. My dad worked on the railway for 27 years.
This is the Sailor clan.
Yeah, the Sailor clan, And then obviously, So for me, it's something that I've never found out. I never really wanted to, but my kids more so than me.
Right. Yeah. So you identify with your adoptive father's Torres Strait Islander heritage, but your DNA comes from the Caribbean and
part of it,
and Solomon Islands.
Yeah, but also I think Indigenous as well. So I've got a certificate there. So people sometimes go, he's not of that background. He's this, but like I've got a certificate there that says what I am, and that's how I've grown up.
No one will be surprised about that story from North Queensland in the 80s, but there's still racism and racist taunts coming out in and around rugby league today, probably the whole of Australian society, but rugby league as well, which is your patch.
Yeah.
We've just seen this incident at the Las Vegas season opener where one player, Ezra Mam, racially slurred by another player of Polynesian background. What do you make of this one?
Look, there's no winners in this, Ezra probably got quite upset. And Ezra, for me, I've known Ezra for a couple of years now. He's a beautiful young kid, and I see him like a son because my son and his son are pretty good friends. Tristan Sailor, obviously, they would get us our slogan. And Tristan, last couple of years, Ezra's been really good at helping Tristan get there. It's him and Reece Walsh, they're all really good kids.
Yeah.
And Spencer, just for me, I've enjoyed watching Spencer play the last couple of years. He's a three-time premiership player. He's one of those big alpha forwards that you like watching in the game.
So you care about both of them?
Oh, of course I care about both of them. And I just know that Spencer, if he's probably going to spend a bit of time on the sidelines because you got some of the greats, talking about this because we've all been through it, And if he said it in the heat of the moment, look, I think you own the situation, you apologise. Because the NRL can't do any more, okay? But this is big for them now because there's a lot of spotlight on the NRL. Also, the clubs. I know I've been at the Dragons. I've been at the Broncos. I see clubs. The education is there. But we know it's human nature to make mistakes and say things under pressure,
So human nature, that's an interesting way to describe it. Why is this in people's nature? And I think we all would have thought it would have stopped by now. It might have died out in the 80s and 90s. Why does it still happen?
Tom, how are we going to stop it when you've got it happening in the Premier League, You've got it happening in the NFL, you've got it happening in the NBA. It's unfortunate, but I don't know if we're getting better. It just, but also the power of social media too now, I think it's the jump-on effect,
So you don't know if we're getting better. That's an interesting thing. I think that's what infuriating about this, not just the damage that it causes and the hurt, it's the disappointment that it still happens. So what do you think goes on in those moments? You said there a phrase that was interesting as well, in the heat of the moment. So is it about one person trying to put down another person and reaching for the most hurtful thing they can find, or what's going on in those moments? Can you break it down for me?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. When you watch rugby league or you're playing rugby league for me, so in that heat of the battle, there's things that are said on the field that back in my day in the 90s and that in 2000s, it stays on the field. You shake hands and you walk off.
But those things, what's the objective of them? It's to get in their head,
100%
to hurt them.
Yes.
Whatever you can grasp at.
And yes, that's exactly right. And some people will just take it and wear it and then walk away and then you shake hands after the field.
So you talk about why this happens, that someone's trying to dominate someone on the field and they, for some reason, they reach for a racist or a homophobic slur on the football field. But there's many ways on the field you can get in someone's face and make them feel like shit without slagging off their race, their sexuality. So why do some players or some fans reach for one of those dark pockets to hurt someone and not some other way? There's many ways you can trash someone on the field.
I know, because they're not smart enough to think of some other sledge or the gamesmanship of it, you know? Like, that's just, mate, and they're so used to... And because
so stupidity or weakness or...
A bit of both, but also it's just... They're not thinking too much. They're just thinking this is an easy sledge to do. So even when I sledged, you try and think of a good sledge rather.
What were some of your greatest hits?
But I would try and make people angry. Yeah. Like, I remember playing Jason Rolls one time, and Wayne said to me, he goes, Jason Rolls, mate, really good young forward in the game, obviously, pretty fair coach, and Wayne said, I need you to go after Jason Rolls today. So when I took a hit up from the wing, I did 20 hit-ups and I did 2 tackles, because of the winger. So then when I ran at him, I just go, mate, I can't believe you're playing against me today. You'll be in reserve grade by the time I finish with you today. And then he kept getting angry. Yeah. He kept getting wild, so you come and try and shoot at the line.
That's a bit of fun.
Bit of fun, but you got to be smart. And then, mate, we're good mates now, Jason Rolls.
Classic banter.
Yes.
But the race card or the homophobia, you're sort of saying, in some cases at least, on the field, between players, it's a lazy or a stupid way of trying to get in someone's head. But don't you think in some cases it actually might go to something deeper, that there's an underlying attitude that is really dangerous about one race being lower than another?
And that's where we're getting it, and that's why some do it. Some people, it's, that superiority, which, sometimes when players do that, that's what they're trying to do.
So race relations in rugby league is pretty interesting because it's a real melting pot.
Yeah.
There's a huge number of Indigenous and Polynesian players in the game.
Yeah, it is. 12.5 to 14% Indigenous players, and I think it's 50 to 55% Polynesian players, And don't forget, we just had the All-Stars last month, how good was that? And then we're looking at this now, and it's going to happen. I know there's a nice, healthy respect between the Indigenous players and the Polynesian boys, because, And
not in this case, apparently.
Yeah, but once again, I think Spencer, he's going to regret this.
So let's move along in your story. You do 9 seasons with the Broncos before getting an offer to go to rugby union. Basically double the money? Yeah,
it was double the money. Gordon tells the story when he won the World Cup in 2000, and Gordon said, "No, we can stay together, and we can have, mate, make it have a great legacy here."
So you had a few Broncos playing for the Australian team, so you're banding together.
It was Lockyer, Webkey, Tallis, and myself.
Not a bad foursome.
Not a bad foursome, and we were all around this. Lockie was a little bit younger than us, but me, Gordy, and Webby the same age, and Lockie, obviously, what Lockie's done in his career. Yeah. He's done all right.
Yeah, one of the best. So you're all banding together, going, let's stick it out. But then, and you actually get a call from Wayne Bennett during a big night out, and you agree to a deal in principle, but then another offer comes on the table.
Well, Gordy wanted to call Wayne to say, mate, look, come on, Del, we'll get you a good deal and stay. I said, yeah. And obviously we're day 2 after we won the World Cup in 2000. And
it's like Mad Tuesday by now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what it was like. And Wayne takes the call and he goes, we'll put something together. And then by the time I get back home,
so this is how deals happen, by the way.
Sometimes deals are done like the Broncos and that. But
you got one player barracking for another player, bring him on, give him a decent deal.
Yeah, and because Gordy had sat out a year too, and not long before that anyway. So I said yeah, but then by the time I've sort of got home, Eddie Jones had called my management and wanted to have a meeting with me. So Eddie Jones. So Eddie Jones just wanted me to come to rugby, and then I met with rugby because it was in my best interest to meet with rugby.
It's a big opportunity. So this is 2001 that you make the big switch, and me as a country rugby union kid who also had one eye on rugby league, I'd seen you come through with the Broncos, obviously a standout player and a standout character, and then you step into our game, which was amazing, and it was a good time for rugby union. Almost won the World Cup in 2004.
Yeah, Johnny Wilkinson. I still get PTSD from that. Like, just the switch kick, mate. Like, he deserved it. Like, you got to go a bit left to centre to win those big matches, and then England haven't won a World Cup since.
Okay, so you've alluded to a few times that you like to night out, and many of us do. I do too. It brought you unstuck. You got busted for cocaine in 2006, which basically brought your rugby career to an end.
It did, yeah.
2 years out.
Yeah.
Now, you've owned it pretty well. A lot of people, and this is a funny thing, watching rugby league players or rugby union players get into trouble. A lot of time, if it involves illicit drugs, the story is I was struggling with my mental health or going through a tough time. That's why I turned to drugs. But I think in some cases that might be true, but often it's a lie.
Yeah,
the person was actually just wanting to have a good time.
Well, I partied on a Wednesday night and then I got tested on a Sunday and they found a metabolite in my system. The doctors around then said if I would have drunk a litre of water, it would have been out of my system. I wasn't big on water, so I used to love my soft drink, and then I still love caffeine, because when you're supposed an extrovert, like you want your sleep and you get up and you're ready to go, So for me, there was things that happened at the time, wasn't ideal, but can I tell you, I think it was the making of me because I just think those 2 years I had to go back and...
What did you do?
I did a lot of things. I did Dancing with the Stars. I did community programs. I got some counselling just because of what happened in my childhood and growing up. So there was a few things that I had to deal with.
So tell me about the counselling. Did what you had to go through growing up, being adopted and not knowing the real story about why your mother left you out, did that have anything to do with the drugs, or was that just something you got to deal with now that you had the time to actually...
Yeah, that was just a byproduct of something that I got to deal with because of having time out to actually, for the first time, not having to play a role, So I was lucky because when I was 18, 19, coming straight into grade, playing for the Broncos, mate, I'm playing outside Steve Renouf and Alan Langer and Kevy Walters, and how good's this? I'm playing against Manly. Manly were my team as a kid growing up because of Dale Shearer and Martin Bella.
So you're not going to be going, hey, Steve Renouf, hey, Alan Langer, I've got to go to counselling.
Yeah.
you're just busy getting into it.
I know, but I think you got to hit rock bottom sometimes to find yourself again. And, I had, at that time, I had obviously 3 kids, and then obviously Tara and I had 2 kids, Tristan, who's obviously playing with the Broncos now, and then I had a daughter. But me going back down there, spending time with my son, and obviously even my daughter, taking them to school and that, gave me an appreciation for okay, that was my career, but you know what? I need to come back and finish on my terms.
Yeah, well, it gave you a snapshot into the rest of your life, right?
Yeah. But you can ask any question because for me, nothing's off limits there. So the drug suspension, it doesn't it doesn't define me. I see players who have been done for steroids in 22 weeks. I saw Bronson Cherry last year, and I said, good luck to you, mate. I said, mate, you've done your time. When you come back, mate, who cares what people think? It's how, that young man, he got a 4-year suspension, and you made choices. But you know what? He owned those choices, and I'm happy to see him back.
So let's go to the mistake you made. One thing I've always sort of thought watching rugby league or union players come unstuck in this way is, I get it, you want to party. Partying's fun, especially in your 20s. But you've got so much riding on it. You were getting paid $700,000 or $800,000 a year at Australian Rugby Union in the Waratahs. Yeah. Why can't people in that situation just wait till their playing days are over? You get such a short window to be at the top of your game, 5, 10, 15 years at the most. So what happens? Why does that mistake get made?
Because you're watching everyone else have a good time. You're hanging with sponsors who are A-listers, and you walk in rooms with celebrities, and you're going, how good's this? And and then you want a part of it. So part of you thinks, okay, you know what? There's that threshold there. You go, okay, you either make a disciplined decision not to, or then you go, you know what? I want to be a part of it. So you start to sort of think, okay, you know what? Just once or twice, this will be okay. And that's when I got to Sydney. The worst thing I was doing probably was after games and that we were going really well. On a Sunday, you go to a VC's, then you go to King's Cross.
Nice.
King's Cross was it was all time. So, and for someone with my personality, I can be disciplined when you have to be disciplined. Okay. But Sydney was just exciting. Through that Waratahs, even to this day, I still feel guilty. I go to the Waratahs Old Boys, and I still feel guilty in 2006 because I think it cost us a title.
It's just too exciting. It's the temptation to have fun when you're at that level. And you've talked about walking into parties with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman and people like that. That's the world that was on offer to you.
Yeah, it was. You go to King's Cross and then you got the A-list. So you've just, as an athlete, you've got to realise that you're an athlete. You're not an A-lister, even though. If you look at it now, look at Nathan Cleary, look at Reece Walsh, man down Lockyer.
Yeah.
We had this conversation about Reece Walsh. Reece Walsh has won nothing and he's played two Origins and he's killed it. And Lockie says to me, this is Darren Lockie saying to me, I said, mate, what about Reece Walsh? He goes, mate, he could be the first player to make $2 million. And that's not even winning a premiership.
Tell me about the good times. I mean, what was so fun about it? You've given us a bit of a snapshot there, the kind of people you're meeting. What is it doing for who you are, your sense of self? What's it like to be at the top of your game and having that kind of fun and that kind of access?
Well, look, I feel sorry for the players these days because I say to Joey and Thursto and all these guys, mate, if the phones around back in our day, you think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Freddie Fittler, Joey Johns, myself, Mark Geyer, Brian Fletcher, Hindy, all these guys, we came through an era and we sit on the panels and we have to talk about the current game. We don't throw stones in that, but it's hard for these young kids now when everyone's got a phone. I'll tell you how good those times were. So the Broncos, if we win a game and just say you'd be at a pub, so Hotel LA or the Regatta or somewhere or the City Rowers, it might be at 4 o'clock, oh, mate, we're going to shut. Okay, boys, but you guys can stay till 6:30 in the morning. Okay. And, free drinks, mate, the boss said you guys are sweet. So we'd have lock-ins.
Yeah.
So, we asked them, could be some of our friends there. And the recovery wasn't big back in those days. We might have a recovery session.
Okay, but hang on. So we're having a lock-in at 4. That's going till 6. What's happening at 6? Where are we going after that?
Well, it depends if you want to go to someone's place or you just call it quits. But because we've had a big day, we finished at 10 or 11. Wasn't any of these late-night footy games, So you could get out by 10:30, 11. And, mate, it's just you get drink cards.
Yeah.
Mate, at City Rowers, there's a $1,000 drink card for you. My mates from the country would go.
Good drink card.
Yeah. For the first 3 years of the Broncos, I didn't drink, mate. That's what I mean.
Right.
From 18 to 21, I didn't drink. Sometimes it's better the devil you know. And I was never big on drinking because I'd seen, not just with our culture, but up in North Queensland, I'd seen a lot of things in and around pubs and stuff. My dad wasn't a big drinker and neither was my mum, But I had uncles and some of my uncles were all the big, they worked in the mines or they worked as...
good drunks, bad drunks?
Can be a bit of both, You'd see them change and I didn't want to be that guy, but, some of my aunties and my cousins and all that, I've got a few. It's funny. When I was in North Queensland playing Foley's Field football, I'd go up there as a 17-year-old and people would go, oh, mate, oh, yeah, I know your cousin. I was in jail with your cousin at Stewart Prison or somewhere. Oh. So, yeah.
Okay. So you've talked a bit about your son Tristan. You've got 2 other kids.
Yeah.
And we've talked about one of your big mistakes. What do you like as a father?
Look, I think I could always be better as a father. Sometimes I think through my life I've been a bit selfish. It's been about me. I think one of the kids taught me sometimes is, when I've been I might have done a commercial for say Australia Day Out or I might have been away doing an Origin and I come back and, I'm mucking around saying, the big Dell, because I like the third person talk. Yeah, and then I'd come home and then,
So you come back, you're jacked up, you've had a good time.
Yeah, I'm full of it, I mean, I'm just I like myself and I'm just sweat. Yeah. And then my daughter said to me one day too, it's good having daughters, she goes, Dad, we don't care if you're the big deal. We just want Dad at home. So,
what does that mean?
Just they don't need all the bells and whistles. They don't need the sort of the showman. And I've always been a showman.
So your daughter's saying we just want you at home. We know you're excited, Dad. Yeah. We know you're a bit of a character. We know you talk about yourself in the third person.
Yeah.
But what does that connection time look like? How do you give your children what they want?
Oh, wait, I'm a good dad when I'm on. We'll go to the park. We'll go and do something fun. We'll go to the movies. Yeah. If there was something on, Charlotte Dawson, who was a really good friend of mine. Yeah. My daughter liked that, Next Top Model. So she said, Dad, can we go to that? So it's not the big famous things they want, but I knew she wanted to go. So I rang Charlotte on short notice, and she got me, my daughter, and my wife, and my son. My son didn't mind it. Tristan didn't mind it at the time, but then and then don't forget, I lose Charlotte not long after that. So I've lost probably 5 or 6 people to suicide as well.
Wow.
So that instills in me like I've got to tell my story and be better. And not everyone's got to like my story, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't need anyone's sympathy. But mate, I've gone through the darkness to see the light. And I'm hopefully my story helps educate the next generation. We're all going to make mistakes. It's human nature to make mistakes.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think is the main lesson from your story and what you've been through, and how do you think that helps other people deal with their own mental health struggles?
Just be honest. Just surround yourself with the right people. Not everyone's got your best interests at heart. Mate, when times are good, people want to jump on board, okay? And let me tell you, when it gets bad, you see who jumps off that bandwagon, you know? I know Gus and Jude always give me a little bit of stick about jumping on different bandwagons, but I just love being positive. I love people. There's so much negativity in the world today.
Yeah.
You know, and I know I did the Mardi Gras float with the NRL a few years back, and mates of mine are going, "Oh, mate, I didn't know that you should have come out of the closet and that." But that's you know, you can have, but that's the mindset sometimes that people don't want to be who they want to be.
Yeah.
And our next generation of kids, mate, they're going to do it tougher than anyone now, you know, because they've got to make choices on who they are, you know, whether they're gay, whether they're whatever, doesn't matter. I don't get into it too much, but I'm not judging anyone.
Yeah. So being honest and open about who you are, is that the Wendell Sailor lesson?
Oh, yeah, I think so, especially now in 2024. I think for me, it's taken me 3 years to get back here after losing my mum. I think, you know, my mum, she died at the start of COVID. Like, she died in a home by herself. So when I walked out of Triple M here, I got a call because I know she had 2 mild heart attacks. And as I walked out, it was Melbourne Storm game, and I walked out on a Sunday, and my niece calls me and she goes, "We've lost Mum." And then I just started crying, walking past Georgia Boys Cafe, having to drive home to Wollongong, and realised my mum was gone. Then I had to do 2 weeks in quarantine. It took me 3 weeks to bury my mum, you know. And then I lost a mate to cancer, who was a manager, Tony Connolly. And then obviously Tristan gets charged. Obviously got found not guilty. But that was my first couple of months at the start of COVID.
Wow.
So it's taken me probably 3 years to get back to being who I want to be. 3 years and a bit.
So you lost that positivity that people know you for during that time?
I just didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to be in a room full of people. Like, people would ask me about my son. They'd go, "Oh, mate, what about young bloke? Oh, mate, even if he gets found not guilty, you know, he's always going to be..."
So for people listening who don't know, his son was charged with sexual assault, but that was thrown out.
It was thrown out. It was within 40 minutes, but it was 2.5 years out of our life. So we had to take that battle. But just to watch your kids go through that was, for me, that was the hardest. Me personally.
Is that the hardest thing since 2006?
Yeah, I think so. Just seeing your kids go through that and just knowing the whole time he was innocent and what he had to go through, just the media pressure on it. I know the media, we got a job to do. And just to watch him come through it now. So even this year with Triple M, I've cut back on my calling to go and watch him play a bit more and spend a bit more time with my daughter.
He probably got extra focus because his dad was famous.
That's the pressure that people actually said to me. I've got mates who are police officers going, "Mate, it's only because he's your son." And I didn't feel guilty.
Is that hard for you to watch?
Yeah, of course it is. It was hard. It was so hard. But he's through it now. So as Wayne Bennett said to me, he goes, "Mate," he goes, "you got to get back to doing what you're doing, mate." He goes, Triple M and SCA, it is great for a person like you because they let you be who you are. You have fun. You know your stuff. You know to call football. But also, we build a good camaraderie here. You know, whether you're Barb on the front desk or whether you're the big boss here or whether you're one of the young girls working here, we're a great family. You know that.
Yeah. So you are a part of the Rush Hour team. It's a Sydney Drive show, and it's a lot of rugby league chat. But with Gus Worland, who has a big interest in mental health, he's done a documentary series, runs his own charity. There's a deeper thread to the show, isn't there? Oh,
there is. But between us, we've got 5 daughters between us. You know, Jude Bolton's got 2. Gus has got 2. Obviously, I got 1. So we're all fathers, but we've all, you know, and obviously Gus, the got you for life stuff. Mate, I couldn't do it. Neither can Jude. But we have to lift each other up sometimes. Like,
does much of this deeper life stuff come through in the show? I know it's a lot of jokes, a lot of football, but does a lot of this stuff come through on the radio?
Of course it does. Like, can I just say, we've had days there where we've all cried at different stages, whether it's off camera. You know, Gus has gone through something. I've gone through something. Mate, Jude's done it a bit tough, you know, at different times. And we all do the community stuff. It's just not a boys' show. It's just not a rush hour. It's just not rush hour talk about sport. Like, we all love entertainment. We've all got a story. We all bring each other down. We all pull each other in line if we think we're out of line. And I know sometimes when I probably, you know, I've been a little bit selfish and the boys go, "Mate, like, we're a team here, mate. Like, we got to work together, you know. It's not a one-man show or it's not a two-man show. So, and we have a good time doing it, you know.
Mate, it's so good because finding career after elite sport can't be easy.
No, that's right.
Did you have a plan B? What else would you have done? What if this wasn't happening?
I always knew I was going to do something. I always knew I was going to be a star. I'm serious. Like, that's why I'm in the Kia Act, because I'm a star. But I always knew. So can I tell you a funny story? Yeah. When I was 18, 19, the Broncos said to me, oh, look, there's these things called the Black Thunders in Brisbane, you know. Yeah. So you know who used to drive me around?
Who?
Andrew G.
Wow.
Yeah. So we said the Black Thunders when I was 18. It was the best job. So I knew then working with Zoe Sheridan and...
so your radio career started when you were 18?
Yeah. And then when I was out of the game for 2 years, you asked me what I did. I actually did Kyle and Jackie Owen when they were here. I was their sports reporter. So, you know, that's so left to centre for them.
They love a comeback story, don't they?
They love a comeback story. So, and that's what I mean. Like, so now, as Wayne Bennett said to me when I came back, he said, people... Mate, they've forgiven you because, you know what, because you've earned your second chance. But he goes, if you keep doing the same stuff, people won't forgive you. So that's why I know I'm big energy sometimes, but people don't simply want to go home. I just crash. I just sleep. I just turn off my phone. You know, and sometimes I overcommit myself. And then I come into work and I'm tired. Boys go, what have you been on? I said, I mate, did this, did that. And then they sort of say, mate, pull back a little bit. Just say no to a lot of things. And that's what I've done lately, and I feel better for it. And yeah.
That's the tough balancing act of an extrovert, right?
100%. You know, find the balance.
Yeah, find the balance.
Balance is key. And you know what Wayne said to me too? He goes, last year, he said, and I speak to Wayne every couple of weeks, and you'd love this, the best sledge I ever had was from Wayne Bennett. We do a lot of functions together, Wayne and I. And he said, you know, someone said, What's the best thing that you could say about Wendell Sailor? And he goes, to be honest, he goes, there's not much I can say about Wendell Sailor that he hasn't said about himself. But he fell in love with himself at the age of 13, and he's been faithful ever since. And, mate, to hear Wayne Bennett say that about me...
But you're owning it because you know that it's actually healthy.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And that's why I'm in a healthy sort of place, because I think, as I said to my daughter sometimes, I said, honey, you know what? You got to love yourself before you love others, and this is why it's good having a daughter. Have you got a daughter or a son?
No, 2 sons.
Oh yeah, well mate, you want
just
a daughter?
Just getting started though.
But yeah, you got to have a daughter. So,
keep trying. Yeah.
So I said to my daughter Matisse, I said, honey, you know what they say? You got to love yourself before you love others. She looks at me and she goes, "Don't worry about that, Dad. You got that covered." And that's it. She's 21, and she's my world, and she's my moral compass every day.
I think. If you have that plus honesty, that's a great combination. If you love yourself but you can't be honest, that's a recipe for disaster.
100%. And that's where I was at different stages in my life, you know, and even the party stuff. I just like being around people.
Yeah,
and I
get it.
You know, and even like, you know, when we used to go to Townsville, I used to pack my going out clothes first. I used to pack a couple of different outfits because I knew to be going to the Mad Cow or Bullwinkles and that.
You had some pretty good shirts in those days.
Unbelievable.
Some bright stuff.
Yeah, bright stuff. And then also, I was one of the first guys who started wearing sleeveless shirts, and people walk out going, mate, this bloke, how much does he love himself?
Well, as we're finding out, that's a good thing. Wendell, thanks so much for coming on.
Tom, big fan, mate. Thank you very much.
That was Wendell Sailor. Such a great bloke, so open about his failings, also about his successes. Really interesting to get his story there. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're enjoying these weekend briefing episodes, please subscribe, like or follow in the app that you're listening to this podcast on, and rate and review, leave comments. All that stuff helps us reach more people in the podcast apps. I'll catch you later.
Listener.